Hey, Jacob Lamb here with Guitar Tricks. We are guitarists. That means we love gear. That means we love pedals. But what if there was one pedal to do everything? Now, pedal purists here who want huge pedal boards, don't click away. I think you'll still love this. But before we get started, if you're looking to learn guitar, down in the description, there's an ultimate beginner guide with a ton of things like an essential chord chart, a practice plan, and so much more. There's also a bunch of other links to lesson topics, so check that out in the description. But for now, let's talk about this piece of gear. Now, this is the Line 6 HX Stomp XL, which is a mouthful, but a super cool piece of gear and my main pedal, and I want to tell you why I love it. Now, this is the little brother to the Helix and the big brother to the HX Stomp No XL. We're going to look at the features, the hardware, some nerdy facts about it, and listen to some of the tones. Now, first I want to talk about the hardware, because you want to know what you're actually getting and what you get to hit and click. So, this is super cool. In the back here, you have slots for expression pedals, sends, your return, your aux in, your input, your stereo output. What I love, though, is you have MIDI in and out so that you can control other devices with this pedal. You also have USB, which means you can use it as an interface. USB is also for downloading different sounds, so you are not restricted to the stock sounds that they give you. Now, on the left here, you'll see you've got up and down arrow for the banks, and each bank has A, B, C, and D patches in them, which is super cool. Now, these, of course, aren't just navigation buttons, but they're also going to control pedals within a patch. And all you have to do is hit the mode button. All of a sudden, you're looking at all the pedals that you can turn on and off. Now, every patch has got 8 slots that they call blocks, and this is where you can put anything. You can put cabs, you can put amp heads, you can put different emulators, you can put pedals and effects, you can put a loop pedal. If you wanted to, you could put 8 reverbs. It doesn't matter. Whatever you can think of, you can put in those 8 slots. They work from left to right as a chain if you're someone who likes to craft and perfect the order of your pedals as well. Now, finally, you can hold down the mode button here, and you can start actually impacting each of the pedals and adjusting their values. Now, the really cool thing about this that I love is that Line 6 has got something called snapshots. And snapshots are kind of like 4 different variations of each patch. So let's say that you want your reverb turned up a little bit sometimes, but not in other times, and you don't want to turn it off and on or come down and adjust it. Well, you can set different snapshots within one patch to make these little pedal adjustments on as many pedals as you need with one single tap. Now, if we click the view button here, we're going to be able to see our chain. We can turn them off and on, or we can even move them around in the chain if we want to switch up the order. Essentially what I'm saying is you can make every single adjustment you'd need to on a regular pedal board and more, all on this tiny little screen, which is wild. All right, obviously we want to hear some of these patches, but 2 more things I want to mention real quick. You've of course got a tap, and if you hold it down, you have your tuner. This is not just a button, this is also a touch. So if you just touch the top, you're going to be able to see tempo and adjust it either with your foot or with the knob. And then the craziest thing is the poly capo. Poly capo, where there's a setting on here where you can adjust your entire 6 strings up or down semitones. So if you wanted to go ahead and pitch shift down 6 steps and be in a drop tuning for some metal music, there is a setting to do that on this pedal. In fact, one of my presets here, I've got a nice little bass, which has come in super handy when I need to quickly track between guitar and bass and don't want to go grab and plug in different instruments. Truthfully, if I wanted to sit here and talk about the different features of the pedal, this could be a 30, 40, 50 minute video. But we've got a set amount of time, so let's listen to some of these patches. This is my standard clean here. It's pretty bright. There's a good deal of reverb, but it dies pretty quickly. There's also another one here I love using. Technically it says it's an acoustic studio sound, but I find on the electric it sounds really nice for chords. All the way from those clean sounds, then we can jump into some lead solo stuff. Again, we're talking banks and banks and banks of different sounds. Now, you've got some effects here, and then you've also got different banks for different settings. So you've got some that are good for direct in, you've got some that are good for bass, you've got some that are even good for different key settings. Let's just play around with a couple of these. Kind of want to hear out there. Okay, yeah. What else? Do you have any you want to hear? It's a joke, I know you can't talk. Of course we need some just plain dirty. We've got a few patches here like Money for Nada, Sultans, and Every Breath. Can't imagine there are any songs that those go with. Now, since this thing came out, Line 6 has been putting out these patches, these updates like little gifts, and the really neat thing is that every patch has come with more effects, more pedals, more amp simulators, so you're never really done crafting your tone with this thing. Just when you think you've got it, there are a whole bunch of new things to try out and manipulate. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. If you just heard me play and you're like, oh, I don't know if I trust him with pedal suggestions, you can check it out for yourself. There's a link down in the description, and remember, next to that link, there's also that beginner ultimate guidebook and a ton more guitar lessons. Seriously, if you want to learn something, it's down there. I will see you in the next lesson.